Okay, we're about to start. I'm gonna put you guys. Or maybe that could go. You know how that works.
This seasick.
Next time I need to bring my son. I could do this in like 2 seconds. Actually, I think there we go. All right. And you're looking at microphones and nothing else. Oh, okay. Can you guys hold on? Because we haven't even started our meeting, and we'll tell you when we're ready for you. Okay. Thank you. So do what? We meet when they're okay. So it's no distortion, I guess? Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay.
Yeah. It's for background noise when the dog's barking or the parakeet. All right. Okay. We're going to start. This is the Town of Spafford Planning Board meeting. It is 7:05, January 21st, 2021. Do I have a motion on last meeting minutes to...
Why don't we do the public meeting first?
We don't have one.
It's not a public
He
meeting.
didn't come?
He's here, but it was never set.
It's
Oh,
not a
we
public
have-
meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes.
Second?
And accept them as presented?
Yes.
Second?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. First order of old business is James Vickus from Hardscrapple Properties is looking to subdivide .61 acres out of 1.61 acres.
There you go.
We can share. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not enough room up here. So.
Okay, yeah, we can share it. We're good. Okay. Yeah, we looked at having the proposed well location indicated so that we have clearance from the septic. Change of the wording from proposed guest house to proposed residence. Indicate the driveway. Label that the Hardscrabble Point, it was a private road. And label both districts with the indication of where that demarcation line is.
It's up there closer to the house, that Lake District line.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did this get sent to the county?
Yes.
Yeah, we got it back, right? Okay, did you get a copy of this? Good. Okay. County wants to know if you're within a 100-year floodplain. You're not, yeah, I don't think you are. You're up a ways, aren't you?
Several feet.
Counts are out.
Okay.
I'll be in trouble with that.
Yeah, I know about that. All right, what was there? Okay, other than that,
Still waiting on the septic.
yep,
We had to tweak it when we moved the house further up the hill. So I spoke to Eric about it yesterday, and we're waiting to get that officially approved.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to read the resolved portion of?
yeah. Whereas the site is located in Skinny Atlas watershed, Skinny Atlas Lake is the primary public water supply source for the city of Syracuse and is unfiltered, requiring strict adherence to water quality protections on land in the watershed. Advisory note, Skinny Atlas watershed rules and regulations require that the applicant submit plans to the city of Syracuse Water Department for approval, and current FEMA flood insurance rate maps indicate that the Skinny Atlas lakeshore of the site is located within the 100-year floodplain, which may require elevation of the structures and other mitigation. The Onondaga County Hazard Mitigation Plan has identified flooding as one of the 5 primary natural hazards of local concern, with a potential to cause excessive threat to property and safety. Buildings within the floodplain can negatively affect the free flow of nearby waterways and drainage, and building within a floodplain is therefore discouraged. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Onondaga County Planning Board has determined that said referral will have no significant adverse intercommunity or county-wide implications. The board has offered the following comments in regards to the above referral. The board encourages the town to consider the potential long-term effects of small lot subdivisions and continued development along Skinny Atlas Lake. We have not. No, because it was not scheduled until we got information back from the county and the changes on the lot, or the plot. Okay. So if a septic system, when you go to do the do your residence for your daughter, will need to have a septic system designed and reviewed and approved by the health department. And it's part of the building permit process.
Yeah, he's already working on that, talked to Eric on it, so. Waiting to have it, that's public hearing.
Yeah. All right. Any questions or comments? Are your setbacks indicated? Do I have a recommendation to approve the preliminary, I guess, as presented, and set a public meeting or hearing?
Make a motion that we accept the preliminary plat for, where is the tax number? Is that on here? Is the tax parcel number on here?
You can use the project number at the bottom.
Tax map number 013 point dash 01 point dash 10.0.
As read by Les, and set a public hearing for the next month's meeting, February 18th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Okay, we're all set. Jim?
Appreciate it.
should have it on the property.
Yeah, we have to do,
Yeah. Our organizational
oh,
item.
okay, so,
Okay, next item.
do that.
Right, next item of new business is we have some organizational items. Do I have a recommendation to appoint our legal counsel?
I make a motion to accept
Jim
Gas-
Gaskin? Close.
as our lead counsel.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to appoint a secretary for the board?
Motion to retain Kim Reed as the recording secretary of the board.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pick a vice chair.
Okay. Do I have a motion for a vice chair for the planning board?
I make a motion for Les Wharton as vice chair.
Chair. You second?
Second.
All those in favor? Assuming you don't object. Aye. Right?
Yes,
Say aye.
aye.
Okay.
Next year, we're going to continue. I
Aye.
gotta start easing out.
Les abstains from the vote, the other three voted aye.
Right. Okay.
I had a request that we put the mics a little closer. They can't hear us.
Can't hear us? Yeah, you had yours. Okay.
Mercury Hill.
Okay. Next item of business is a request for a special use permit by Ripley Hill Nature Preserve on Ripley Hill Road in Homer, New York. The applicant is seeking a special permit to construct a new parking lot, driveway, kiosk, gate, fence, and crosswalk sign. Okay.
And just for everybody doesn't know, this is request by our highway superintendent. Because of parking issues on the,
I'd like to see it. Thank you.
there's parking issues on Ripley Hill Road. Our highway superintendent has requested this to do something.
We'll share it.
Hi, my name's Albert Gerger. I'm the executive director. Hi, my name's Albert Gerger. I'm the executive director of the Central New York Land Trust. My colleague Paul Porter is our land steward, and we are here tonight requesting a parking area, kiosk, gate, and drive to create a safety concern. This is brought up by Jody Fisher. Highway superintendent, folks that are,
Does he have a map?
I guess it's 2010, parked along the road.
It's not me. I'm getting it. It is a problem. People parking on the road.
All right, so folks that park along the road, and it came to Jody's attention that cars traveling at a high
Is parcel A and parcel B both part of the preserve on your map? Which is across the
Yeah,
street.
Parcel A and parcel B. So, the trail comes up onto parcel A, right across the street from the parking area. We couldn't put the parking area on the other side of the street because you need a ton of escalator. Like, this is right at Creative, we need to get a culvert pipe, or it's like a very straightforward, easy place to put the parking originally. Jody had said we could just actually put parking right off the road, but for safety concerns, putting a short driveway out of the parking lot.
Okay. Your request is for the parking lot, which you've given us a drawing for, a kiosk, which we don't have any information on, a gate, and a fence, and a crosswalk.
So the
So-
crosswalk, we can put a sign up that says there's a crosswalk, it's a dirt road, so we can't really paint a crosswalk on the
Mhm.
road, so it would just be a sign that says crosswalk. The kiosk, we modeled our kiosk towards a kiosk that the Finger Lakes Land Trust uses already at their Otisco Lake Preserve and their Utica Family Preserve. So the kiosk looks a lot like this.
Is it notated on the map where that is?
No.
I would imagine we put it at the end of the parking area.
Yeah, but it'd be nice to have it on the map so that we
Yeah.
know that's where it's gonna be and,
Yeah, has
No,
to be there.
there's-
And you said gate. Where's the gate?
If you don't want us to have a gate, we won't have a gate, we just oftentimes put a gate on our preserve so that if, if any issues arise, that the gate will be closed. The gate will be in the back of the driveway.
you don't think they won't just park on the side of the road at that point?
But then it would be in violation of the parking. So we could delete a gate, because gates cost money, and we would prefer not to put a gate.
6 parking spots?
Yes. What's that?
That's gonna be enough.
Yes, well, right now there's no parking spots, so we were thinking that 6 would be, if it turns out we need more, we can come back to you and we could.
Have you done a survey? You've been up there every time and seen how many cars have been there at certain times?
Usually there's no cars,
Yeah.
so,
No, that's not true. I travel that road a lot. And it's, there's been up to 4 cars on the side of that road.
okay, the 3 times I've been there, I've seen no cars, or actually, I've seen 2 cars each time I go, because I usually go and meet someone there, so my car and the person
Yeah,
that-
no, I've seen up to 4 cars there, and I think it's became very popular when COVID hit, because we did see an uptick this
Mhm.
summer, traveling down that road yep, so,
So if you've seen 4 cars, 6 would
6 should be
be
good.
50% of what you've seen. But we're happy, I mean, if you want more,
I travel.
if you want more spots, we'll put more spots, if you want less spots, we're trying to comply with
This needs to be
the
deeper.
request.
I'm just thinking what, I've got on Tisco at the county park there. That parking lot holds 8 or 10 cars.
So
and
where's
they
the
still park
parking
on the side
lot?
road. So, COVID just gets more popular, you should allow for a little bit of overflow, more than 50%, I think. Because it gets filled up, in the wintertime as well as in the summertime.
The other thing is, on your driveway, you show 6 inches of gravel. That's not enough. There'll be sea of mud in no time.
You think even if we use a geotextile mat and put the gravel on top of it, so we stop the movement?
Yep. Yeah. Typically, you need 9 to 12 inches of gravel.
Is it like 9 or 12?
12's better than 9. That would give you the base if you ever wanted to pave it. I'm just saying, and then that's good. They'll suit you well, and also your turnaround, where you're trying to back up, that's not deep enough. Should be at least 10 feet.
Our chairman's an architect.
I'm semi-dangerous.
So we'll show the kiosk, we'll do 12 inches of gravel instead of 6, and we'll make the turnaround 10 feet. 6 spots.
Consider more.
Would you like 8 spots?
You think,
I think 8 would be,
yeah, because you may have 4 on the road and nobody else is there because there's parking spots that are all filled up on
right.
the road.
They might have gone down to Covey or something like that. 'cause
Yeah.
there was-
So we're happy to put 8 spots, and then you want us to delete the gate?
Yes.
Yeah,
It'll never be closed. It'll just sit there and rust.
I mean, if you've got a reason to shut that trail, you're almost better off
Yeah.
just putting a sign
Closed.
that says trail closed at the entrance to the trail.
yeah.
Shutting a gate just tells the people they don't want you parking in the parking lot and they'll park on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Right.
Land Trust and Fiscal has to have the gate because they have to shut down. This is Naples, and that's not allowed them to shut
Yeah.
access out during necessary.
And you need to show the location of your kiosk.
In the location of the parking. Is that on?
Yeah, the location of parking's on here.
Yes.
Is that, what's the
So
site
how
distance
far-
on that?
He's got it.
1,700.
1,700.
You're,
It's 1,000 feet in one direction and 700 in the other.
Kim, the issue is where
Okay, who's
I said
your
it's round
SE?
in this.
you come around the curve, people come around the curve.
Yeah, and there's a little knoll on the other side too. So like you pop over the knoll, coming this way, and there'll be cars there, and then you come around the curve, and there would be parks right here.
So the actual site distance here.
Yeah.
So this does this.
Yeah.
I guess.
Uh,
Yeah, it's going uphill.
Do we
So
need,
you're wondering about site distance?
It's from the policy and standards for entrance to state highway. So it meets the state highway entrance.
no, who gave you the measurement? Who said to you that you had 1,000 feet?
Our
Architect?
Ramsgard did. But I don't know if he went out there and shot it.
I think he's pretty thorough.
Is this a road we're talking about?
It's
a
a-
town road.
it's-
It's a seasonal road.
So when you guys put the road in, you probably got permission from the state to put it in, right?
No, the road,
No.
it's a town road.
Oh, it's a town road.
It's a town road.
Oh, well,
It's a
then-
seasonal road.
We gotta get, Jody to approve the site distance. I thought you guys already had it in.
So we want a letter from him?
Yes, we want a letter from Jody, the highway superintendent, approving the site distance for this driveway/road.
Yeah, the site distance really is also based on the speed on the road, the site distance required.
Right.
You know, so
Based
typically,
ours on, I think, 55.
yeah, so typically it's like 10 miles an hour or 10 feet per mile per hour. So if you've got 550 feet,
Yeah.
then you're good. That's the rough number. I don't. But you're saying you got 7 and 1,000. So
Yeah.
hopefully Jody will confirm that.
Yeah. The main concern is that people coming around the curve, the cars that are parked there and stuff already. It was in that area where you guys were parking on, where they were parking.
We don't have a parking lot there.
I know, where you putting the parking lot. That's where they've been parking on the side of the road,
Yeah.
because that's where they travel down the freeway. Yeah, if there's an issue with people coming around the curve and around this knoll, and the cars are already being parked there, and they're coming up on them fast, the elevation of the knoll and the curve are going to dictate what's going to happen.
Yeah, you got to have clear sight distance, not just because of.
Not this
Yeah.
got to be able to see it.
I'd also like on this map where you're drawing your location of your crosswalk signs. And what those signs look like. They should be standard, the standard yellow. Yeah, yeah, you got to have those, but that should be part of the submittal. And the other thing is, I know you say that you're at grade, but do we need culverts, or I don't know if there's a swale there or not.
I don't think so. I mean, we could ask, is that, I was going to
Yeah.
say, you could ask Jody to comment
That's
on
what it
that.
shows, that spot is the.
Okay.
It goes road, farm pit.
Yeah, you're going to build up your parking, so you're probably going to need some sort of, well, maybe not, but
We chose it, we didn't
Yeah.
want to kind of have the expense of it.
yeah. Well, that should be part of his. Yeah, that should be part of Jody's approval or review. You know, whether he needs a culvert or not. He needs to weigh in on that.
So do we ask Jody to approve the site distance, or do
You do.
You do.
and then do we ask him to say if we can forward or not?
Yes. He needs to also comment on the layout. You know, he should comment. You should make the modifications, have Jody take a review, make sure that he gets a letter to us, and then bring everything back so we can see it.
Expecting it to get plowed.
No, I don't think so. It's shut down, kind of.
Okay.
Somebody wants
That's
to
your
do that
call.
in the wintertime. If someone wants to do that in the wintertime, like, that's
What?
lovely.
Because it,
Yeah. Well, you should tell them what the planning board is requesting.
So we can
I
show the
think they know
kiosks,
that.
12 inches of gravel,
yeah.
turn around to 10 feet, 8 spots, delete the gate, location of crosswalk sign, and example of the sign.
Yep.
Those are the things you want, and you want us to get Jody to approve the site distance, do we need a culvert, and comment on the layout.
Right. Yeah, and you're going to extend your backup turnaround 10 to 10 feet. Right. Okay.
Great. So then we come back, so we get all that done, come back on February 18th,
Yes.
and then, I'm new at this, so on February 18th, we might get permission so we could move forward, so we could have that parking already in for the.
Well, then it goes to a public meeting.
So we get it approved, and then we have a public meeting.
Now, we
Right.
have a public meeting, and then it gets approved if the public meeting goes good.
We have to take public input before we can make final decisions.
Right. And do we need to send this to the county?
That's what I was going to ask. Do we normally send
Doesn't
special?
meet the threshold of, not within 500 feet of the limit, 500 feet of the border. I would probably send it anyways if you can have a public hearing.
Just to let them know?
They'll just send back a no jurisdiction letter if they don't want to look at it.
Okay, so
Once they get past this one.
once we get the changes on the map, and hopefully a letter from
Right.
Highway, then we'll send it to county planning. And hopefully, after February 18th, we'll refer it to county planning. Do we do seeker on these things? It's in your application, right? Yeah, we'll do that at the public hearing. So the public hearing will be in the March meeting.
When's the March meeting?
Yes.
No, sorry, that's March 18th.
So February 18th and March 18th?
Yeah, that's what I would,
Yes.
would like to meet.
All right. And you will need a drawing for the kiosk.
Would you like one we have?
Yeah, I have it drawing, I just don't have a location.
but is that,
That's,
This is the one you're going to do?
no, he's going to do, yeah, but here's the drawing. But this one here is permanent, this one is portable, and I want to know whether you're doing a permanent or a portable.
That's the actual unit that was constructed at the other side.
Yeah, so you're, yeah, but it's not this. That's my
Yeah.
point.
It's this, which is this.
Oh, it is that.
Do you care if it's permanent or portable?
If it's, yeah,
If we can dig holes, we make them permanent.
yeah.
If we can't, like sometimes they're shallow depth to rock.
Yeah.
So, like this one's at our Three Falls Woods Preserve, and they're shallow depth to rock.
Yeah, I think it should be permanent offhand. Portable things tend to walk.
Yeah, I thought so.
You know, I could say, well, that's some nice lumber. I think I could make something out of it. You got to pick up.
I've got tons of locusts in my front yard if you want to take them down.
I have loads of buckthorn if you want some of that. Okay.
All right. Well, great. So thank you. So it'll be like a 2-month process. Where we get it all over. Okay. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Jim, do we need a revised special use permit, or would we just mark it up when we approve it? Because, well, take out the gate.
What's that?
Take out the gate. You just cross that out, or?
But that's the application, that's not what we approve.
Right,
So we don't
okay.
have to modify.
We don't have to modify the application. Very good. Thank you.
are we moving on to these guys?
Yeah, is there, this lot line adjustment, that should be fast. Ed McGraw or John Murillo, they're not here. Okay, so we'll hold that to the end.
Bye-bye.
All right, next,
Mute these guys.
yeah, unmute them. Next order of business is a special use permit application from Community Power Group. Applicant is seeking a special permit to install a 10-megawatt ground-mounted solar facility located off Route 174. Okay.
Now, hold on. Okay, try it again.
Lou, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Much better.
Great. And can you guys see the screen?
Yep. You're good.
Yeah. If I could mess up wagon.
Well, first of all, thank you guys so much for accommodating a Zoom meeting. We recently had a staff member with COVID, so we greatly appreciate you making the exception to help make this happen and listening to what we have to say. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Excuse me, for the record, could you please state your name and the company name?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Michael Borkowski. I'm with Community Power Group.
You gotta spell that.
Oh, she needs that spelled. Your name, your name.
Yeah, it's B as in Bravo, O-R, K-O-W, S-K-I.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And then I have with me,
Whitney Hughes.
Whitney Hughes. Is Hughes H-U-G-H-S?
H-U-G-H-E-S.
E-S.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
great. So, I assume, does everybody there have one of our packages?
Yes.
Okay, so we were going to do just kind of a short presentation, just to introduce the project. It kind of walks through some of the key items that were provided in the package. I don't want to spend too much time on presenting because I'm sure you all have your there's a variety of setbacks, maximums. We're going to talk through that today, but we think we've adhered to everything that's being requested of us.
Michael?
Yes.
My name is Jim Gaskin,
Yep.
and that's Gascon.
Yep.
I am the town attorney.
Yep.
And we passed a local law. It's a solar energy law on, I think, December 8th or December 10th. And I think it was December 10th. And so you were preparing your application under our special use permit portion of our zoning law. At the same time, we were finishing up on our solar energy law. What I'd like to do is send you a copy of our solar energy law. It is not overly cumbersome.
Yep.
It's only 5 pages long, and essentially it requires a special use permit. So I don't think you're going to have to modify that much with your application. I apologize that what we were doing and what you were doing were kind of coinciding with each other. Just so you know, we started putting this energy law, the solar energy law, together about 2 years ago, and we've been working on it. So it's not something that we put into place to hinder your application. And I don't think once you see it that you'll have any real concerns with the local law. But I will send it along to you so that you can compare your application with the solar law. Maybe we can just have an amended application.
Do we have his contact information?
It is a special use. Yep. I'm guessing that his address is on the front of the application.
Right. Well, don't you want to email it to him?
I can email it to him. Mike, what's your email?
My email address is
I don't have a folder. I got that.
as in Michael, B as in Bravo,
Yep.
ORKOWSKI
Yep.
at communitypowergroup.com.
CommunityPowerGroup.com?
Yep.
Okay.
So, thank you so much for interrupting me. I definitely appreciate that. Let me ask you this question. So, as a part of the special use process, I assume we're going to have to do public notices, have a public meeting,
Yes.
make sure all the boxes are checked,
Yep.
and hear any public comments. And I assume this meeting is not accomplishing that, right?
No, not yet. This is not a public meeting.
Yep.
We're probably going to have to refer this to our engineer.
Yep.
So my guess is that, and I don't want to speak for the board, but my guess is the board will be referring this to the town engineer for review and comment.
Okay. And so
Yeah.
that referral and that review and comment, does that happen, do you want that to happen prior to or at the same time as the public hearing?
I'll leave that up to the board.
This is Les Moore, the vice chair.
Les.
I've gone through your application, and I've gone through our zoning for the solar energy, and you should probably pay quite a bit of attention to section 16-6 A, B, especially 4 and 5, but all the sections A, B, and C. Going through just to give you an idea for you, get your mind going which way it's going, is that I'll just read you the first part of section 16.6. Commercial solar energy systems are permitted through the issuance of special use permit within RA and PDD districts, subject to requirements set forth by this section, including site plan approval. Applications for the installation of the commercial solar energy system shall be reviewed by the zoning enforcement officer and referred with comments to the planning board for review and comments to the town board. The town board will make the final determination, which may include approval with conditions or denial. So we will be doing a review for the town board, and the town board will be doing the final decisions on this. Okay? And pay special attention to your decommissioning part of your proposal and the decommissioning requirements of the zoning regulation. You've done quite a bit of work on that, but there's some things in the decommissioning plan, in the subdivision, in the zoning regulations that need to be added. An example would be a bond, probably an escalation cost of materials and labor figured in, and of course for inflation. I say escalation because escalation costs could be more than inflation runs, so you should look at that.
Jim, who does the bond run to?
To the town.
To the town.
Yeah, the bond for decommissioning?
Yep.
Yeah, that would run to the town.
And I looked at the estimate, Mike.
Yeah.
And, you're looking at about 30,000 to 50,000 panels. And your decommissioning numbers seem light to me.
Okay.
I echo the same. I thought the same thing when I saw the numbers.
And then, as Les said, it'd have to be escalated to your estimated time of decommissioning.
Okay.
And it's all labor. A lot of it's labor, obviously. So.
Well, you could have I was looking at it this way, the escalation cost could be cost of fuel. Fuel could kick off again. And stuff like that. If everything's figured, which was figured on today's cost, as I read it.
Yeah.
That, escalated costs on certain items could be more than inflation.
Yeah, and then, but there also should be some that are less.
Yes.
So, but you got 20 years or 25 years of escalation, so it'll probably be more than the cost to put it in. Anyway, the other thing, Mike, this is Dennis, and you probably don't know this, but I believe you need to contact the FAA because you're near a flight path of commercial jets. I fly over this area when I come home. And my understanding is your array rotates. Is that correct?
Yeah. So just as a clarification, I'm a pilot, and we've done a fair bit of work for putting solar on airports, and we can run. We have all that. We consult for them, so we have all the software and deal with the FAA on a regular basis. We'll check their database and their flight paths to make sure there's nothing that that interferes, and we'll get a negative declaration letter. But there won't be any. I can assure you with 1,000% level of confidence that there won't be any issues on that front.
All right. The other thing is, according to New York state law,
Yep.
We need to have some input from the State Department of Agriculture and Markets. They need to be part of the group that needs to weigh in, along with our local fire department.
Chairman Spina, what section of the law are you referring to?
New York 6, New York NYCRR Part 617,
Thank you.
I believe. Yep.
So you said ag and markets needs to...
Yeah, it's right in here. It says here, the first step in the process is to identify and confirm the involved agencies and interested parties that will participate in the review and evaluation of the proposed solar facility. While the list of involved agencies and interested parties may vary, the following entities are generally included for solar facility projects: New York State DEC, New York State Department of Transportation, New York State Energy Research and Development, NYSERDA, New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets, New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, New York State Thruway Authority, which doesn't apply here, but County Planning, County Farmland Protection Bureau, County Department of Public Works, local fire department, individuals have property that are bordering the site.
So that's interesting. This is Jim Gaskin again. If I could have that list, because we're going to need to send them a lead agency notice
Okay?
for seeker.
Yeah.
The applicant's been kind enough to provide us with a proposed seeker, long-form seeker, but in order for us to complete that seeker process, we have to notify the exact agencies that you've identified with a lead agency notice.
Okay.
Also the entire watershed, that.
Yeah,
Watershed.
yeah, the watershed, obviously,
Water Authority.
and I mentioned
Yeah,
that.
just to clarify the process here, so there is a seeker form which is part of the notification process.
Yep.
We've already have a letter from the DEC, which I believe is in that package. We have a letter from the Historic Society, which is in that package. We have SHPO, as well as from the AG. The AG, we're interacting with that. We've already given them notice. They had a couple of questions for us, and we answered those questions today, literally. And then for the Historic Society, as noted in the seeker, the seeker identifies which agencies there might be an issue with, the Historic Society came up as one item. We actually hired a consultant who is issuing a report in the coming days, and that report will then get issued. We're highly confident again that there won't be any issues associated to it. But we've initiated a significant percentage of that process and completed the rest of it. So,
Thank you, Michael. I still think that we need to notify those agencies that we want to be lead agent.
sure.
So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
great.
Absolutely.
It's great that we have that. It's the town board, but I'll be preparing the letter on behalf of the town
Okay.
board.
The other thing you should know, Mike, is the county planning department
Yeah.
typically does not like to see farm acreage that's active taken off, farming. Can you speak to that?
It's in the,
Yeah, I mean, so the owner of this property is one of the larger, farmers in the area, has a significant amount of farmland there. He's financially struggling, and this is a way to supplement his income and preserve that land over the course of, the next 25, 30 years. When these things get removed in 25, 30 years, that land's going to go right back to ag. And in the meantime, it has allowed somebody that may have had to otherwise sell parts of his land that may be more desirable for commercial purposes that he's currently farming, may not have to do that anymore. So, we actually see in certain areas where conservation groups are looking at solar farms as a way to keep farmland from other commercial purposes that are basically irreversible, and to provide an income to farmers so that they can stay in business and make a living. And so, we honestly couldn't feel better about utilizing a certain amount of farmland to help farmers bridge the gap and stay in the business and make it a profitable endeavor for them and for their children. That, it's becoming increasingly hard to get children engaged in the farming business these days. But when you're able to supplement it with a project like this, people, and kids start to get excited.
So just a couple of other things. Our zoning law permits, and this is an appropriate project for us to request an escrow for legal fees and an escrow for engineering fees. And I'll chat with the board to see what the amount of those two escrows would be that we're going to request of them, and I'll send that along to them.
Okay.
Would that be for just our board, or would that be the project?
For the project.
For the project. That's why I'll get the numbers from the town board for that.
The other thing, Mike, is the county has and you want to speak to this, is the permit application for solar. There's a special permit.
Through the county?
Yeah, through the county.
It'll be sent to the county anyway, and that's going to trigger a whole bunch of other avenues they're going to have to look at.
Yeah.
The watershed. They don't like taking land out of the ag district.
Can you speak into the, so Mike can hear you?
Can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah.
This is our code official.
Yeah, this is Howard Tanner, the code officer. So there's a whole bunch of agencies we need to send a letter of coordinated review to before we can go much farther, I think, anyway. But we can go ahead and send this to Rich Abbott right now for his comments, which will trigger some of those other agency involvements anyways.
Okay. Rich Abbott is Syracuse Water.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because everything that drains into the Skaneateles Lake is closely monitored by them as well. In fact, they do their own daily research on your drainage and runoff issues and their own inspections. So.
Well, I can just about guarantee you that the year-round pollinator-friendly vegetation that we're going to put on this land, is wildly more environmentally friendly than the chemicals that are being put into the ground, and the nitrogen and the weed killer that go into that soil that make its way down to the lake. I feel highly confident about that. But I think also just being transparent, not every community wants solar. And that's okay. I don't want to be in a position where we're investing tens of thousands of dollars, only to find out that that the community doesn't want it. And it's your community, and that's okay. We're okay with that. And I'm kind of getting the sense that, hey, maybe this isn't something that the community wants, and we're okay with that. There's a lot of other communities that the benefit will get more tax revenue. It'll help out a landowner, etc. And we can easily go to other places. And so if there's any sense or feedback that says, hey, guys, maybe this isn't something that is an appropriate spot or whatever, good with that. We're okay, and so I guess I just want to be open and transparent about that.
Well, I think we would know, this is Jim Gaskin, the attorney again, I think we would know better after we have the public hearing. I don't think we have a really good sense of what our public wants and doesn't want, and I think a lot of it depends on what the project is, right?
Mhm.
So we're just learning what the project is now. And
Yeah.
as long as you talk about tax revenue, we should probably at some point be talking about a potential pilot.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And that, when the community hears about what the potential pilot might be, that may change a lot of minds. One way or the other, right?
What we're trying to do, Mike, is let you know, welcome to New York, there's a process.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. I'm a
And
New Yorker,
there's
so I went to school upstate New York in Oswego, and have tons of friends right there in that area that I went to school with. I get it, totally. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just want to be upfront. That was my only point,
I think if we're being very upfront with him, we don't know what the community sense is on the project yet.
Yeah.
So I think we have an open mind. I think
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that we wrote a regulation for solar energy, once you read it, you see it's not very restrictive.
Yeah, our solar energy law is not overly restrictive, not intended to prohibit, and we anticipated you coming.
Yeah.
When we started this process 2 years ago, we anticipated that you would be coming. Maybe not you, but,
Someone.
a solar project.
Yeah. No, that's great. And we typically, in a pilot arrangement, it's something north of not too far north, just because the economics of solar projects have come down so far. But if we were to put 10 megawatts in there, that's 40 some odd plus grand a year in incremental revenue.
That's great, and really, I would be looking to your advice on how you have fashioned pilot agreements in the past, so that we essentially hit the mark, the sweet spot that's good for you and good for the community.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's got to be a win-win for everybody. So I understand that for sure.
What's your, assuming everything goes through, the way I read this, it looks like it's either a phased project or you're going to do it all at once. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to do it all at once, absolutely. The way solar works in New York is it is a block program. And so the earlier you are in the program, the more money is available for solar. So those projects that came online, 2 years ago, they had much higher incentives than the solar that's coming on today. And so there's two components to that. There's something called the megawatt block program, which when it started was, it was in the, it won't mean much to you, the actual numbers, but it was like 50 some odd cents, a watt type of thing. Now we're down to 11 cents, just to give perspective as to how far that has come down. They have added in something called a community solar adder. That program will be up before this program comes online. It was 16 cents a kilowatt, so it worked out. I should say watt. That will run out, as I said beforehand. We're hoping that a new one comes in out or close to that. If it doesn't, in all fairness, this project, virtually every other project upstate New York that hasn't been accepted into the program already won't happen. And so, we're right at the epicenter as to, right now whether projects are going to be happening or not. And that is all based on how fast we get to permitting. So our projects right now that are at the end of the permitting line, as far as getting all that done, are making it into the block program, and the rest, well, we're hopeful that the program gets renewed. So that I'm just being candid with you. The project is kind of on a teetering block right now because it's gone a little bit slower than expected. Not necessarily not from your all's perspective, but just in us getting it ramped up. So what I will say is that the other big component of all this is the ability to interconnect. And so that means connecting onto the wires that are right there in front of the town center. We have our interconnection agreement. It is done with NYSEG. The costs are pretty reasonable. Like, we should be able to get the project done as long as the incentive program, comes along. So timing is very important to us. And I don't know. I hope that was helpful. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But I just figured I would kind of give you a very, candid picture of where things are.
How high is the array going to be?
The array at its maximum height will be about 7-8 feet off the ground.
That's the top of the array?
Yep, because these are a single access tracking system. So typically, a lot of times you'll see fixed tilt systems, which are a little bit higher because there are two panels. This particular system is going to be a single access tracker. So in the morning, it'll be facing east and capture the sun as it rises, and it will kind of pivot across the horizon line and end at the end of the day facing west. And so it'll be, just one panel on a row that pivots like this, and it'll be approximately, 7.5, 8 feet off, off the ground at its highest point, which is at the mornings and evenings.
This is Kim Brayman, I'm a councilor member. I was kind of surprised to see that you guys had put in motors for tracking. Have you ever installed this motor in upstate New York? Due to the conditions, I've heard that tracking is not always the best up here because the motors get moisture and ice in them, and then they end up having a bunch of panels tilted in different directions because the motors stop.
Yeah, we've done motors in kind of very cold areas. It's all we do. We have a whole bunch in Illinois, Massachusetts, and the technology has come along in the last several years. And the other thing, we had anticipated having bifacial panels, so you get sunlight on the front and the back side. And actually, when you have that snow on the ground, or that little bit of ice, it really shoots up production because you get a reflection off the ground on the backside of the panel.
Michael, it's Jim, the attorney again. I haven't had a chance to review your application in detail, but could you address the issue of whether or not you're going to be using batteries to store the power? And if you are, what is the plan for these batteries?
Yeah, there'll be no batteries on the site.
No batteries.
Nope.
Does that mean? And I'm not really familiar with the technology. But does that mean that the power will go directly from your solar panels into the system?
Yep.
Okay, that's good to know.
Is
Yep.
there any plans for batteries in the future?
No, there isn't. And if that did evolve at some point in the future, which it might, it is a great thing for the grid, we would fully expect that would be a whole new special use permit process. We are not applying in this permit for battery storage.
Jim, should we get that in writing, maybe?
Perhaps it can be a condition of the
Yeah.
special use permit
Right. He's writing that down now.
approval. If we do approve a project, we can make it part of the permit, a restriction in the permit.
One other thing, Mike, I noticed you did a noise study.
Yeah.
There is a noise ordinance in the town that you should look at. Yeah, he's got it. He's got the noise study. I just want to make sure he's aware that the town has a noise ordinance, and that he locates the inverters where they need to be.
What's that?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. We'll make sure to look at that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, because the one you have closest to the one residence there, I would personally move. But just a thought. Take a look.
Yeah, sure will. Yep.
Okay. I think we should move a resolution to refer the application to the town engineer at this point
With our comments.
with our comments. Yeah. Don't you agree that that's the next step? And then
Yeah, and you're going to do a letter.
I'm going to do a letter enclosing the solar law, so they have a chance to see the solar law. I'll send that over to them, and I'll find out from the board what they want for escrow amounts. And
The escrow, I'm thinking we shouldn't tell them. They should propose to us, and we should review. Have our
Okay.
engineer review because of costs.
Okay.
We can estimate.
well, typically what I do is I would establish an escrow amount, and then they would work against the escrow, meaning that
Oh, you're talking the escrow, not the bond.
not the bond. the
Okay, I'm
escrow.
sorry. I misunderstood.
Okay. Okay. And then I'll get a lead agency letter out. If I could copy that you're
Yep.
looking at, because that list is helpful.
Yeah, we'll make a copy.
A quick question. When do you think we'd be able to get to having a public meeting?
We might be able to schedule it at the next planning board meeting. I've got to look at who schedules it. It would be the town board that would schedule it, right?
I think the way the law is written, the planning board is basically a review agency.
Right.
We don't think we do those, that's up to the town.
Town board is the one, what you're saying is, would schedule the
Yeah,
public hearing?
handle the public hearing, coordinated review, all of that stuff.
Yeah, so,
But we'd have to give them
Possible.
our recommendation first.
right, so it's possible if we get the engineer's report back, and you're comfortable with what we've received, it's possible that you can make a recommendation and refer it to the town board, at which point the town board would, at that point, refer it to county, we could
3 months?
send it to county planning too. But
Did the town want it back, or, if the town wanted it back, or?
I think what we should do, planning board with,
Do your normal site plan process,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
so that you can
Let's send it out of county.
yep. Let's get the engineer's report back, and then at our next meeting, decide whether or not we refer it to county planning, or whether it should go to the board first, and if they make the referral. I gotta read this thing. Yeah.
Do you think you should wait for Michael and his firm to review our regulations first, and then
Oh, yeah, he's gotta modify the application
modify
to
the
comply with
application?
our solar law.
Yeah,
But that can be done between now and our next meeting.
yeah.
When is your next meeting?
Next month, it's the 18th of February.
Okay,
If you can do it.
we'll be able to do it.
Yeah, that'd be great. A modified application for the February 18th meeting, and hopefully we'll get some sort of a response back from the town engineer. Yeah. And I'll,
Okay.
yeah.
Go ahead.
And then there's some items that, as you said, you're working with some other entities that you could also maybe amend.
Yeah, absolutely.
the
Yeah, we'll have
proposal.
that data back by then, for sure, so. Yep. All right, well, this has been super helpful for us. Thank you so much for, taking the time to hear about this and provide us your thoughts and some feedback, so.
Yeah, motion.
Make a motion to,
We're not done yet with this one.
Go ahead, Les.
make a motion to send the plans after the modifications, after community power group has reviewed our regulations and sent a modified plan to our county engineer for review.
Slow down, please.
The town engineer.
Town engineer.
So reviewed by town engineer, she said.
Yep.
This is after they amend the application. So if we get it in the interim, we can send it to our town engineer, is what you're saying.
And we can send it, we could also, in that motion, with the revised application, we can send that on to county planning, correct? For review?
No, not yet.
I gotta look at the law to see whether or not we should be sending it to county planning or the board should. But frankly, the board hasn't passed a resolution declaring itself as lead agency yet. And we could do that at the next board meeting. And then my letter will go out.
So that's
Okay. When's your next board meeting? The town? It's 2 weeks.
It's a week before ours.
11th February.
Yep.
So let's make sure that we get it on the town board agenda. Tim, can you just let Lisa know that we want this on the town board agenda so that we can pass a resolution declaring the town board as lead agency? And then that'll give me the authority to send out the lead agency letter. And then all you gotta know is that,
I'll work with,
huh?
Wait, just keep going, I'm ready.
Well, I've kind of lost my train of thought.
Send a letter.
That I would be sending out a letter following the board resolution
The town board resolution.
to all interested agencies, declaring the town board as the lead agent for seeker review. I can also send our local law to Michael and his team over there without delay. And I'll get an idea from the town supervisor as to what they're looking for in terms of a escrow account.
Do we have a second on the resolution?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay?
I think we're done. You guys all set?
Yeah, all set. Thank you. Thank you again so much, really.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All righty, bye.
All right. Last order of business is lot line adjustment between Ed McGraw and John Murillo, 2155 Saks Way, Skaneateles. They're looking to convey 1.023 acres to Edward McGraw for a total of 2.5 acres for Mr. McGraw. Ireland.
Hang on, we got 3, 4 people talking at the same time.
Howard, you want to explain this?
Okay, basically, this guy is giving this piece right here to this guy. So it's a double lot line. This guy's doing a lot line, and this guy's doing a lot line adjustment. Just moving this one back here. So this is equivalent to that lot. And both maps are exactly the same with the same different names on them.
So, this guy's getting part of this lot.
Yeah. And this guy remains the same. He's gonna end up with 14.5 acres after he gives his piece to him. He's gonna end up with 2.65 if he gains this.
Is this landlocked?
No, actually, they have more land up here than they want.
Can they get to the road?
Go through all the way through there.
That hurts.
The road actually, Catchway comes down through here, but it doesn't actually go all the way back up.
Looks like it does.
It's a walking trail.
I don't understand that.
So right now, the line is here.
Yeah,
They're just moving it back out here. So this guy's gonna take this little jump right here. Makes sense?
like, is he giving him some land?
No,
This guy is
he's,
selling this piece to him.
So the acreage down there will increase.
Right now, the line goes like this.
Yeah, I understand.
This is one
I'm
piece.
just thinking that,
That's not necessarily a lot line adjustment, is
Yeah.
that what you're thinking?
yeah,
Well, it's not really a subdivision because this is gonna be absorbed into this lot. You know what I'm
you're not making another
saying?
lot.
Not making a new lot. I'm making this lot bigger. And this
so
one smaller.
technically you're making a lot before he gets it.
Well, if you did a subdivision, yeah, but then you can't subdivide this because it's landlocked. The only way to do it is a lot line between the two.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I'm saying? This road doesn't exist.
I get that.
It's a path, private path.
So you said you just need a resolution approving the lot
We
line?
need a resolution approving the lot line for these two people. So we have those applications in there.
Or is it?
Same as we've done before, basically.
So this is coming,
This one is,
He's giving them one.
I could read that upside down, 0, 2, 3.
Yeah.
He's gonna end up with this new acreage.
so he's gonna be part of it's in RA, part of it's in the
Yeah.
south.
Yeah. Yeah, the line is actually, more 300 feet is back here.
Why? Did you get in that?
What's that?
Why are they doing that? Do you know?
Currently, this septic is right here, which is under review right now by the health department because he's got some issues.
Oh, so he wants to put a septic
He
up
would
here?
end up putting it over here, and eventually he would like to add on, but he can't right now because he's too close to the line. He doesn't have a front yard setback.
Hmm.
So that may or may not happen, but he has an opportunity right now to buy the land.
So is that a non-conforming lot as it says right now?
No,
Or is it conforming?
it's not a non-conforming lot, but it does have a non-conforming structure because it doesn't have a setback. So this would actually correct that problem anyway. Should he decide to do something. That makes sense?
Yeah, but I'm still thinking, he's breaking off a piece of property from his property
Right.
to sell it to him.
But you can't create
You can't
a
create a
separate
legal,
parcel for that.
illegal
Yeah, because it's
lot.
landlocked.
Because it's land.
So that's how we've gotten through that in the past, by calling it a lot line. Both people pay the fee and he's doing a lot line, he's doing a lot line, and this is important. At least that's, maybe we can't buy that before we get create
Yeah, it's a nice neighborhood on
at least a lot. So. And those are just something that we sign off on, but then we
Right.
work it out. When Jim came on board, we made a resolution to do that, so.
one for Edmund Road.
What's that?
And then another one for,
And a separate resolution approving the lot line adjustment for
Edmund Road.
Edward McGraw. So who's receiving and who's conveying?
He's conveying to Ed.
Murillo's conveying to
So if you wanted to start with Murillo, the motion would be to approve the application of John Murillo for a lot line adjustment which results in a conveyance of 1.023 acres to
Edward McGraw.
Edward McGraw. That's the motion.
Do I have a second?
So moved. Or someone else so moved?
No, you got a second.
Oh, I'll second.
All those in favor? Huh?
I
Oh,
can't move. Oh,
okay.
let's move.
Yeah, Les moved it.
I was with you, Jim, I thought.
Yeah, Les moved it.
second.
Kim seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, now,
A motion-
Les is going to do another motion. Go ahead.
This is going to be another motion whereby he approves the application of Edward McGraw for a lot line adjustment between McGraw and Murillo, which results in the conveyance of 1.023 acres to McGraw pursuant to the plat presented by the applicant.
1/15/2021.
That's the date.
Yeah.
Drawing.
Drawing number 20-Z-165C.
By Lear Land Surveyors, DPC.
You want to add that little provision to the other one, too? The reference to the flag.
Yeah.
To both of them.
You so moved.
There's two different maps.
No, it's the same map.
Okay. Yes, so,
One map, two names.
All those in favor? Aye. Any other business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
second.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.